as you can probably see just behind me, absolutely nobody wants to leave Anfield, and I include supporters and players in that, because of course we have just seen Liverpool lift the Premier League title, the day really that every Liverpool supporter has been dreaming of for over 3 decades, and it's finally here. We've seen a Liverpool captain on the pitch lifting that Premier League trophy aloft, and it was a joyous day. And I have to say, I didn't think that this would be kind of a typical match analysis really, but surprisingly got quite a lot to say about the day itself and the actual game itself really. And I think the first place I want to start about that really is to talk about the fact that I'm so glad that Liverpool scored and equalised in that late moment in the game, because yes, you know, the result really didn't matter today. You know, the Palace fans were in party mode, Anfield was in party mode. You only had to look at the reaction to Ismail Sarr's goal and the fact that all 4 sides of the ground really was shaking with joy to know that the result didn't matter here. But it felt so good when that Mo Salah goal goes in, because it just gave everybody a moment to coalesce around, to really cheer, to let the smoke bombs off, to really get the songs going again. And the noise inside Anfield in that moment was absolutely incredible. So I'm so glad that Liverpool did get a point from this game, and you know, the roar after every attack then in the final moments of the game was just incredible. It was like they were trying to win a Champions League semi-final, such was the noise inside here. So I am really glad, as I say, that they did get that goal, and it turned this day into kind of a, you know, the joyous moment. It was exciting, it was everything that you wanted this day to be, even though it was only Liverpool getting a draw rather than a win. And you know, I'm fitting also, I would say, that it was Mo Salah who scores the equaliser, because let's be honest, as good as all of these players have been, and they've been sensational this season, he has been the man who has made this season really for Liverpool, hasn't he? He's been the key architect of the fact that they are Premier League winners this season. I mean, it tells you everything that on the pitch there at full time he gets the Golden Boot award and the Playmaker award, so the most goals and the most assists, just one of the greatest Premier League campaigns you'll ever see. And in fact, that is proven by the fact that he's equalled the record of goal contributions in a single season with 47 goals and assists combined. That equals a record held by Andy Cole and Alan Shearer, but of course they did it over 42 games. So let's be honest, Mo Salah is out on his own in that regard, one of the greatest Premier League seasons of all time, and for me it absolutely has to be recognised with a Ballon d'Or later in the year. But we will see in terms of that. Of course, that is a little bit of a while off yet, but as I say, he has been the heart of this title win, and though he's maybe dipped off a little bit in the latter part of the season, so has the team as a whole. And 2 more years of Mo Salah at this moment to me still sounds very, very good, so very much excited to see more of him. And I allude there to the slight drop off in Liverpool's form in the latter part of the season since they've won the title. I mean, 2 defeats, 2 draws, it's not exactly inspiring stuff, is it, from the Reds to finish off what has been a wonderful season. But I also think, you know, you could look at that and say, well look, that proves that these are not really massively worthy title winners, or you know, they've just kind of got lucky to be in the form at the right times and other sides have dropped off. But to me, it actually underlines how good this league is really, because I think you look at it today and, you know, and in fact over those 4 games as a whole, and if you take your foot off the gas by even 1% in this league, the Premier League teams that you come up against, no matter where they are in the league, will absolutely hurt you. I mean, you look at Palace today, the FA Cup winners, a phenomenal side. You watch them play football, so disciplined, so well organised, but also incredible quality from back to front there. You look at Eze, is a brilliant player. I love Munoz. I thought Salah was fantastic today and is an excellent player who I know Liverpool looked at a while ago. But as good as that Palace team is, it's 12th in the Premier League at the moment, and so there's teams above them who are better, there are teams below them who are still very good as well. I just think that speaks to really the incredible depth of the Premier League at this moment and why it's so hard to win. And for me, these 4 games and the fact that Liverpool have just kind of pulled off a little bit and they've suffered these results that they've had, not been able to win any of the 4, just shows you for me that this is an incredibly strong league, and that, you know, if you are to be the side who wins this league, you've got to be very, very good. And thankfully this Liverpool team absolutely is. Now, a couple more talking points about the game itself. I know I said, you know, it's not really about this, but there's so much to take from this really, and it did feel like a massive one. And one of those I want to talk about and have to talk about really is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, so much talk about what was going to happen, and I have to say, I thought maybe we'd seen his final Liverpool appearance, because he gets booed against Arsenal, all the fallout from that on social media, all the talk about it online and offline, and you know, all the debate around it, and then obviously doesn't come onto the pitch against Brighton, which again I thought was a smart decision, no chance to boo him. And so I was really, really surprised when I saw him warming up, doing an intense warm-up at half-time, but he comes on, obviously he gets that moment, and the fact he comes on at half-time maybe helps because there's not a focal point to maybe boo him and focus on that. He obviously kind of sneaks onto the pitch almost without anybody noticing about it. But there was still a great reception for him, I would say. Big cheers when the substitution actually gets announced. No real boos when he gets his touch, and you know, attempts really to kind of cheer him on. And you see when he goes to take corners as well, the fans right behind him. And I have to say, I've written about how, you know, my understanding of why fans are really angry at him. I completely get that perspective, and you know, if you want my explanation, do look on my Substack of the piece I wrote there to kind of underline those reasons why fans are happy. So I would not do that down in any way, but I have to say I am pretty glad in the end that we got this moment here and that there was a kind of warm reception to kind of sign it off, because to me I think that was almost important. I think the fans absolutely had already made the point to Trent that they weren't happy, and rightly so in my opinion. You know, he got the boos against Arsenal, he's got all the stick he's had on social media over the past few days, but that message has been sent now. The booing's done. You know, the anger may still remain about the Real Madrid move and everything like that, but I think the message has been sent in the end. And so I think there is still space, and there was still space, and I think we saw that today, for a little bit of recognition of what he has actually achieved during his time at Liverpool, and the fact that he has been here for 20 years. He is a local lad. He's helped turn this team from a team that was, you know, in the doldrums a little bit to a team that is right at the pinnacle of English and European football at the moment. And you know, you got all those cheers to kind of recognise that. You saw him kissing the badge. You sort of a much better reception than he's had at any point. So, you know, I like I say, as much as I agree with the fans in terms of, or can understand the stance in terms of being unhappy with him, I also think it's nice there was a bit of balance brought to things today, and it leaves things on kind of a good note, if not perfect, a good note, so that it's not just pure hatred in the way that relationship ends. Because as much as it's painful now, and as much as it, you know, there will be pain to see him in another club shirt in the coming seasons, I still think there were a lot of good times along the way. So if anything, today was maybe just a little bit of a recognition of that. And I will finalise that point by saying, of course, all Liverpool supporters will wish him nothing but the worst in Real Madrid, particularly if they come up against Liverpool in the Champions League. But nice to see it end on a non-sour note, you would say, today. But like I said, there's so much to talk about from today's match, but let's be honest, it wasn't really important, was it? Because all today was about was that opportunity to just get to full time regardless of the result and lift the trophy on the pitch. Because, you know, I think that the trophy lift today, I posted a picture on X actually earlier saying, you know, showing my view in this stand, actually further up in this stand because of social distancing, of what the cot looked like behind me when the trophy was lifted last time, the Premier League trophy by Jordan Henderson, and how cold and empty, and I've talked about this before, it just wasn't anything like you'd imagined. It was a really disappointing day, in honesty, for a team that deserves so much more. And so today, to see that, to see the pyro on the pitch, to see the fireworks going off, to see Anfield full and heralding the champions, it was much, much more in line with what every Liverpool supporter has dreamed of for the last 35 years, and it was just a privilege to be able to see it and really just capped off the day, and is exactly what everybody has been looking forward to. But as much as I say that, and as much as the kind of the joy of this moment and what it'll all be about, I almost felt like today almost felt like something bigger than that as well. It almost felt like it was the start of something, because, you know, I looked around me today, and, you know, these players are going, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because these players will go on the holidays now. Everybody's got to rest up, you know, particularly me as well, because I want a holiday myself. But I looked around me and I saw, you know, just behind me in the stands there is the sporting director, Richard Hughes. He's sat next to Michael Edwards, the Fenway Sports Group representatives who were there. I'm talking about Tom Werner, John W. Henry, and of course Mike Gordon as well. And I kind of looked to them, and they're watching these incredible scenes play out. And I just think, they're looking at this thinking, we want a little bit more of this. You think of where FSG have brought this club from when they came in initially to where it is now, and I'm looking at that stand, I'm looking at the stand that I'm in, I'm looking at the fact that when they came in, the idea of Liverpool being Premier League champions twice in 5 years seemed like a distant dream. I mean, just to get your hands on the trophy once would have been absolutely incredible, and yet here they are. And of course, they've won a few other trophies under this ownership along the way, and as I say, they've now done it under two managers. They've got a winning manager in Jurgen Klopp, passed on seamlessly into Arne Slot, and it just feels like the foundations are there to keep building. This is not just a kind of flash in the pan, this is not a one-off. They want to keep building, they want to turn this into a dynasty, and they want to restore Liverpool to where it was really as the kind of biggest club in England, because there is more to come, isn't there? I mean, we know Jeremy Frimpong is very close to being confirmed. The move for Florian Wirtz is in the works now, so we wait to see how that progresses, but there's real excitement and confidence growing around that being done. And of course there is an expectation around the place now that they will accelerate a move for Milos Kerkez. So Slot knows what he wants, to take this team to the next step, and Liverpool are going to back him and absolutely give it to him, because this club now is effectively, you know, you look where they are now, 20th title and record equaling, and you look where Manchester United are. Did they finish 15th, 16th, 17th? I'm not sure, I didn't pay too much attention to that, but this Liverpool side and this Liverpool setup under this ownership is poised, I think, really, particularly with the fact that it's now grown into being a commercial behemoth, which is more befitting the size of the club. I think it's poised to dominate English football in the coming years. And as I say, you know, we talk about being back on your perch, really. Liverpool is set up, and has generally been set up, to be the biggest club in English football. It's been, you know, you think of Manchester United as maybe rivaling them in that regard, but they're a side or a club who've had two incredibly successful managers in their history, and then not an awful lot in between, whereas Liverpool have had dynasty after dynasty after dynasty. And I really do get the feeling, looking around me today, that maybe we are at the start of a new one, because everything is there. You know, the players are there. There's a great group here to build on. The manager is absolutely incredible, has done a remarkable job in his first season, and they want to add more to that. I alluded to all those players there. There will be more to come, because there will be more exits as well. So what an incredibly exciting time, really, to follow this club, and for supporters as well to watch this team grow, because as I say, I really do believe this is just the start, and there is more to come. Now, of course, before that, we need some time for some rest, not just the players and the manager. They deserve some holidays, but also maybe me. I mean, obviously the transfer window's coming, so I'm going to be pretty busy in that, but I'm going to try and take a holiday in June if you guys will let me as well. Very much looking forward to that, but otherwise going to be really busy. But I want to sign off with one thing as I say this now, is a little bit of a reminder actually about what this is all about. You know, I'm talking about this team, how incredible this achievement is, what we've got to look forward to and what's to come in terms of building on that. But the reality is, and I always come back to this, is the fact that football is about people, isn't it? I said this in the video when they were crowned champions. It's about the people who are around you. And I saw a video posted on Liverpool's socials in the build-up to this game, actually, which is a father and son who got pictured on the Kop in that Tottenham game. And the son came out with an incredible quote, I think. He said, "Football is the excuse, people are the reason." And he's absolutely right about that. That was spine-tingling to me when I read it and when I heard it, because it is about that, isn't it? It's about sharing these joys with the people who you love. And you know, I'm getting excited looking forward to next season already, but you know, let's go out there and make the most of every minute of this success, because it's a long summer until they come back in for pre-season and we start to think about that. We start to worry about the matches and we start to think about the transfers and all that nonsense. Let's just, you know, take today to savour this moment, the one that everybody's been dreaming of for 3.5 decades. It has finally arrived, and Liverpool supporters get to celebrate the champions of England, and they get to do it together. It's an absolutely remarkable moment. I hope you guys all enjoy it, because I know I'm going to go out there tonight and I'm going to enjoy it, that's for sure. Now, going to sign off there from Anfield. They're just already hoovering up all the ticker tape that's down on the pitch. They're already getting ready, probably waiting to get the mowers out to absolutely ruin my day again, as per usual. So I'll go before they do that. I'll say, if you can like and subscribe, it's massively appreciated. Do subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the transfer updates over the summer, and I'll see you guys very soon to talk about the Premier League champions, Liverpool.